The 110th English Defense Sermon. 110. The Church of the Candlestick of the Olive Tree. The word that will work up when the testimony is finished. The work of the striking the earth with disaster. 1. The Church of the Candlestick of the Olive Tree. God prophesied through all the prophets that the earthly kingdom of world, unity world, would come through the kingdom of the David. Everything that happened in the kingdom of the David was shadow lesson for the realization of the earthly kingdom, and at the same time, all the prophets gave a sad warning about the terrible destruction that would come upon that nation. This warning means that even though the mission was entrusted for the purpose of the realizing the kingdom of David, the kingdom of David would be realized by those who were loyal to the mission, and when all processes were received from God and recorded through the prophets of that nation. It was said that the kingdom of David would inevitably win no matter how strong the enemy was. This was not something that was taught to Israel in the Old Testament, but a prophecy that spoke of the purpose of the realizing the earthly kingdom through Christ, the King of Kings. Now, regarding the Church of the Candlestick of the Olive Tree, the following is said. 1. Work of the olive tree. These are two olive trees, and the two candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. Revelation 11:4. This olive tree means that when the King David was anointed and saw a great victory, King Saul, who was jealous, tried to kill David without any reason. But David did not treat him evilly, but believed that the complete victory of the kingship was not a matter of the human means and methods, but the victory was only possible because God took pity on him and fought together with him. And in Psalm 52:8, he said, "But I am like a green olive tree in the house of God. I trust in the loving kindness of God forever and ever." When he did not have a godly heart but took only to God and bodily went to God. David's kingship was complete, victorious, and he established a prophetic nation. Likewise, when the servant of God lives a victorious and courageous life in that last day, there will be many false prophets and billions who oppose him. But the servant will not use any human means that will go forward believing that he will win in the complete love of God and will receive the work of the kingship that becomes the sap of the olive tree. Because God is God of vengeance, the kingship is always given to the one who has the condition of God's revenge. Therefore, in Revelation 24, it says that the servants who were beheaded because of their testimony for Jesus and because of the word of God, and those who had not worshipped the beast or his image and had not received his mark on their foreheads or their hands, will reign with Christ 1,000 years. This olive tree refers to the work of the servants who received the blessing of the kingship of Christ. The root of the David A servant cannot become a victorious ruler and unless he had received the kingship. Christ was endured and triumphed on the cross to find the lost sheep. So he became the King of Kings in order to become the branches and sprout. Those who work the pace and fight will become completely green trees. God's work is always done through people, so God cannot establish the kingdom without those who fight the end of the mission that God has entrusted to them. Now the olive tree in the text teaches the entire transformed saints who will welcome the Lord of the second coming. But I am like a green olive tree in the house of the God. I trust in the mercy of God forever and ever. Psalm 52:8. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them, and I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for witness of Jesus, and for the word of God, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their forehead or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with the Christ is 1,000 years. Revelation 24. 2. Candlestick church. This candlestick church refers to the church that will remain until the Lord's second coming. Since the time of the Lord's second coming is the day of the disaster, that he thought that those who will remain the day of the disaster will be a group that will be completely united by the prophetic word for the new era. There are many denominations now, but the church that will remain on the day of the disaster is not limited to a denomination, but a group of the warriors who will fight with their lives centered on one word. This church is a church that will from a new era. This is because those who realize that the truth is right. At the same time, the new era and the prophecy will hold on the one truth firmly and go forward without wavering, no matter what storm comes. So the transformed saints who will be raptured from this church will emerge, and at the same time, the people who will enter the new era will be formed as fruit. To be precise, the servants who work in the candlestick church are transfigured, and the flock who believe in that work, repent and come in, will be protected in the preparation place, as in chapter 12, and will become the remnant church when the tribulation comes, as in chapter 13, and will be the church that received salvation when the judgment comes, as in chapter 14. And below, the church is the nothing that exists for perfect people, but rather if something that gathers the chosen ones in one place and works to make them perfect. Therefore, in order to become a remnant church in the midst of the tribulation and disaster, the church that followed the guidance of the servant who has the qualification of the bride who is raptured will be protected as prophesied in the coming disaster and create a new era. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where he has a place prepared of God, that they should plead for their 1,260 days. Revelation 12:6. 3. no one can cause harm. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceeds out of the mouth and devours their enemies. If any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. Revelation 11:5. The church is not grace, age of grace, suffered damage, and was killed by the enemy, because it is a church that aimed for heaven. So whom it killed, it loved once, it was killed by the enemy. This was the purpose of the forming the ranks of the martyrs. However, the candlestick church was the purpose of the forming a new era, is them to be the ones who remained in the tribulation where tens of the billions of people would fall. So God worked to ensure that they would never suffer damage from the enemy. This is because God works according to the times and leads the church that remained on the day of the tribulation to form a new era as prophesied. Conclusion: the church is the group of the God's people gathered together to fight against the devil. When the church was established, it fought for the purpose of reviving the souls that died under the devil's authority. So it bore fruit in the form of souls being saved. The candlestick church, when the worldwide tribulation comes, fights together with the devil's minions and religious authorities that have been given the authority to cause the tribulation, so God protects and works so that it can be overcome, the devil's authority and overcome. Large 2. The war that will occur when the testimony is finished. Until this day, war were not wars fought against the people of God, but wars started by so-called heroes with political ambitions when people of the world were purposing the world. In World War I, a global war broke out because politicians who dreamed of the world unification arose. In the Germany and in the World War II, those who dreamed of the building of so-called Great East Asia started an illegal war. And in both the First and the Second Wars, those who had political ambitions perished. And in the end, democratic countries were established. However, the beast police of the conquering the world with through today is coming with the authority of the red dragon as on Revelation 13. So no one can stop its authority except of man of God who has received the authority of the heaven. This is the tribulation that comes during the second coming of the Lord at the end of the mankind. This is an ideological war that comes about of a global issue, so this automatically goes to war with the last witness, and the reason is follows. First, God tests the church by raising of a beast that has been given the devil's power that cannot be overcome by men in order to gather all true servants in one place. Second, he released the devil's power in order to achieve the final victory as man of God and establish the kingdom of the saints. Third, he caused a war to break out when the testimony is finished in order to unite the world with the power of the witness. The following things will happen here. 1. Preventing rain from falling from the sky. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and they have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. Revelation 11:6. This is the work of the unifying the Christian spiritual world. Even though the truth of the end of times is now confused, the spiritual world is governed by the way of the cross. So the spiritual world issues are not confused, and all spirits have received the grace of the rebirth. Transcending denominations, however, the work of the end of the mankind is a time when both spirit and flesh are saved, as the work comes down like dew and rain according to the prophetic words. Micah 5:7-9. Therefore, the text meant that the spiritual authority was entrusted to the witness who says entrusted with authority, so that the witness moves freely in the spiritual world. Since the witness received the spiritual authority, the work comes without going through the witness. Because of the authority of the two witnesses in heaven is given to them, and in order to unite the confusion of the Christian eschatological and the spiritual world through the witness, the work is not given to the just anyone, but the work is given according to the purpose of the witness, just as the work of the reverse is given through the person who testified to the cross in the age of grace. A new work is given according to the prophetic words given to the witness in the Christian eschatological, and in other words, the work of the reverse is given through the cross that is fulfilled as prophesied, and a new work is given through the work of the authority of the witness that is fulfilled as prophesied, and there will be a work that spiritual unifies the world. This is not done by man, but by establishing a witness from above to carry out the work of the world unification. God always uses servants when working according to the laws of the times. In the age of the law, he entrusted the authority to Moses, who received the Lord. And in the age of the grace, he entrusted the authority to the apostles who witnessed and testified to the resurrection of the cross. And at the end of the mankind, he entrusted the authority to the servant who received the prophetic word from God. And the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of the many people as a dew from the Lord, as the showers upon the grass. And there is not for man that waits for the sons of men. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of the many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest, as a young lion among the flocks of the sheep, who, if he go through, also breaks down and tears in pieces, and no one can deliver. Your hand shall be repeated upon your adversaries, and all thine enemies shall be cut off. Micah 5:7-9. To strike the earth with disaster. This is not a disaster that destroys the people of this world, but a method to subdue the forces of evil and bind the chosen people under the power, Just as Moses found the blessed Israel under the wicked government of Pharaoh, and just as the power of the cross saved the dead spirits under the power of the devil. This is the method to find God's people under the regime of the beast. The last evil process. God always works in the age of the law, the age of the grace, and the age of the tribulation to find his people under the power of the devil. And especially in the last work, he advanced into enemies' country in order to save all people from the evil government of the beast. In this way, the last warning message is delivered even to the country of the red beast. 3. What caused the war? And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascend out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. Revelation 11:7. This war is not a war of territory, but a war against the beast of the kingdom of the world, unification. The beast comes out convinced that he will unify the world. The men of the God fight believing that the kingdom of the saints will become because he has defeated the beast. When the kingdom of the beast is conquered and entered through the work of the authority of the witness, just as Pharaoh raised before Moses and Jezebel raised before Elijah, the regime of the beast will rage and come out before the last witness. However, this is not the time to pass judgment to destroy the beast, but the time to rapture the servant who fought to the end, so uses so seeking to make his servant fall like a dead man. The purpose of the having your son die on the cross was to unify the world through the Son, and the purpose of the having the last witness was to create a new era of the unifying the world through the witness. The final judgment is to judge according to the prophecy that the witness testified, in order to save those who keep the prophecy and judge those who do not. When the testimony is finished, the witness is raptured, and the world is ended over the beast. At the time, no matter what tribulation comes, those who keep the prophecy are protected, and those who do not keep it are all made to receive the mark of the beast. After that, he descended to the earth like a thief, and saved those who keep the prophecy of the witness, and annihilated those who do not keep it and receive the mark of the beast. This is the judgment of a disaster that creates the new era. Conclusion. The end of the mankind means that the last battle is fought with the authority of the witness, and those who follow the witness will enter the new era, and those who follow the beast will be annihilated, so that the nation of the world will become nations of the saints. They say they will fight against the power of the beast with the work of the authority of the witness, spread the gospel, and after completing their testimony, they will be raptured, and on the day that the earthly rule is established, the world will be judged. But those who bow their heads before the power of the beast will be eliminated. And those who do not bow their heads and look only to God until the end will create a new era. Now, 3. Though things that will be testified to striking the earth with plagues. Revelation 11, 6 through 8. When God used his servant, he used them to fulfill his will at that time. The prescriptions that must be prevent as work ends with disaster, striking the earth of the end of the Christianity is as follows. 1. To make the enemy country repent. These have to shut the heaven that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over others to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. Revelation 11:6. No matter how Christian or countries' policies, God used Moses to strike Egypt with the plagues and rescue the chosen people from the wicked regime in the order to find the chosen people. He also used Elijah to save the people from the Jezebel, his wicked politics. If this kind of work not done today, God would use his servant like Moses in the last days to receive the flock beyond the iron curtain, where his chosen people would not be found. If God were to judge the flock beyond the iron curtain without risking them, it would be impossible. The people under the communist camp are currently in a state where people under the age of the 100 cannot hear the gospel and are immersed in the pitch black darkness. In order to find that people within that, he would use the servant of the last days of like Moses, but he would do something 7 times stronger. The period of the 3.5 years is a secret that humans cannot know. But first, God works with the authority of the witness to awaken the sleeping servants in the Christian world, and no matter how many Christians there are, only through the servants who testify to the truth of the end times will grace be poured down like a shower. The work of the last days teaches that grace will be poured down on the chosen one who will enter the new era through the prophetic word, like a dew and showers. Micah 5:7. So that they will not have their way toward life, and that grace will not be poured down to anyone else, and that work will be poured down strongly in order to fully arm those who will enter the new era. Is the authority to power reign or not power reign on the Christians of the pre-world, or servant will receive the work of the pouring down the showers. And the remainder of Jacob shall be in the midst of the many peoples as the dew from the Lord, as the showers upon the grass, that there is not a man, nor wit for the son of the man. Micah 5:7. 2. Strike the ground whenever you want. This is the privilege given to the representative person in the last days, and the reason for giving this authority is that since he is a servant who used clothes post on the day of the Lord, he is a servant who is crowned as Jehovah's agent. So the God works strongly to show evidence. The work of the time of the Moses was not work of creating new era, but the work of the creating perfecting nation, but the work of the witness of the last days is a work of creating a completely new era. So the privilege of the ambassador is given to the representative servant to subdue the enemy, testify to the truth, and rescue the people within it. God working in these ways is the final law of the work to find the people He has chosen with forces. 3. You will at the war with the beast, and they shall have finished their testimony. The beasts that ascend out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. Revelation 11:7. This war is a war through fought to find the flock under the regime of the beast, and when the testimony is finished, God withdraws the worker and causes them to fall before the enemy. This has three meanings. First, He caused them to fall so that they will not be harmed by the hands of the wicked. Second, He caused them to fall for 3 days so that they can walk the same path as Jesus. Third, He makes them as if they were dead in order to give their bodies a complete transformation and ascension. However, the soul did not leave the world, but God's scheme made them look like dead people. If God had buried the transformed saints in the grave, it would not have been possible. So they looked like dead people to humans, but they were not actually dead. Therefore, Isaiah 26:19 says that the dead will live, and our corpse will rise. The glory of the Jehovah is revealed through the witness of the last days, and the last day testimony. He worked to save the chosen people from the tribulation. But this is the time to abandon humans, so He withdraws the worker and creates the era with the remnant. Your dead men shall live, together with my dead body shall they arise. Awake and sing, you that dwell in the dust, for your dew is as the dew of the hops. The earth shall cast out the dead. Isaiah 26:19. Conclusion. God gives a final warning by striking the earth with disaster in the work of the end of the Christianity, and leaves anyone who does not believe and obey to fall into tribulation and die. Because this is a time that cannot be better than the work of the witness of the end times, it would be glorious for God to use His chosen servants in the most devout way in order to find His chosen ones by process, and it would be work that would awaken all people. The curious period is around 2024 through 2025 for the unification of the North and South Korea. The first 3 and a half years around 2024 through 2028. The ritual that the World War started around 2028. The next 3 and a half years around 2028 through 2031. And after organizing to keep the department and the coronation and the parts have been having wedding feast. Revelation 6 to Revelation 9. The Armageddon War is expected around 2031. The wedding feast, the inauguration ceremony of the King of Kings, and the 12th, Revelation 24. And the millennium kingdom are expected around 2034. Thank you for watching until the end. The 10 Commandments. First, you shall have no other gods before me. Second, you shall not make for yourself an idol or the form of anything, and you shall not bow down to them or worship them. Third, you shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God. Fourth, remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. Fifth, honor your father and your mother. Sixth, you shall not murder. Seventh, you shall not commit adultery. Eighth, you shall not steal. Ninth, you shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. 10. You shall commit your neighbor's belongings. Thank you.